Hello everyone! Meet AS Lingo, an interactive American Sign Language learning tool. You're probably familiar with apps like Duolingo or Rosetta Stone, maybe even used one to try to learn a new language, but you've probably never seen a similar app for ASL. AS Lingo is designed to do just that. It teaches you the letters of the alphabet in ASL through repetition and real-time feedback, and provides a fun and engaging experience along the way. It uses your webcam feed to identify your hand gestures and give you feedback. The app is pretty self-explanatory, so let's head on over. AS Lingo provides two modes, the learning mode and the game mode. Let's take a look at the learning mode first. When you enter the learning mode, you'll notice 4 levels to start with. These are designed to teach you the alphabet in smaller, more manageable chunks. You'll also see that the lower levels are locked. These are review levels and will be unlocked once you finish the tutorial level. We'll go ahead and learn the letters A through G. On the left-hand side, you'll see a guide video that shows you how to spell the letter correctly. When you successfully follow the video, you'll move on to the next letter. When you finish the level, you're sent back to the main screen, where you can review the letters you just learned or move on to a different set of letters. In the review level, there are no guide videos. You're expected to remember the letters and spell them on your own. If you get stuck, you can go back to the first level and use the keyboard to help yourself out. The shuffle level is just like the review level, but this time the order of the letters are scrambled to make sure you really got it. When you complete the whole row, you unlock the game. You can now go to the game mode to test yourself on the letters you just learned. Here's how the game works. Each round is 30 seconds long, and you have to spell out as many words as possible before you run out of time. The words are randomly drawn from the level's word bank, which covers all the letters you've learned so far. You have a few seconds to prepare yourself in the beginning, and there's a bar timer at the bottom to show you how much time is left. At the end of the game, you'll get up to 3 stars based on your performance. Harder levels give you more time, up to 60 seconds. If you're stuck on a letter, you can press H to use a hint and see the guide video for the letter. Or if you're totally lost, you can press the spacebar to skip the word entirely. Here's how everything connects together. There are 3 forms of input. The webcam input is processed using the media pipe library, which infers the joint positions for your hand and upper body at each frame. Then the recognition model that I trained processes that data and returns a prediction. The model output and the other 2 forms of user input are all handled by a single game logic module. On the front end, the Python graphics library Kivy ties all the UI elements together. Everything is implemented in Python, from the webcam input to the game mechanics and finally the GUI. Functionality-wise, the model is quite good at quickly and accurately recognizing letters, given the scope of the app. It reliably recognizes 90% of the inputs, or around 21 to 24 letters out of 26. And a lot of thought and planning went into the game design of the app, so it feels pretty robust and complete. Based on user feedback, the different modes and levels seem to do a good job of reinforcing the user's learning experience. Unfortunately, the app is still not entirely frustration-free. It has trouble recognizing a few letters, especially dynamic ones like J or Z. I had to strike a balance between accuracy and responsiveness, so I ended up designing my recognition model to be quick and lightweight, but not always accurate. Another interesting performance issue happens if you're left-handed. The model was trained only on videos with right-handed signers, so it does a better job of recognizing gestures made with the right hand than the left. This was one of the problems I was going to address, but I ran out of time. I had lots of feedback along the way, both from the class and from test users, which largely guided the development of this project. I initially started this project as a translator to be used in a Zoom call, kind of like an auto-transcription tool but for ASL. It turned out that the model was not cut out for this level of performance. But the feedback from the prototype week helped me make that pivot early on, so I could successfully reframe the project in time. In addition, a lot of the game mechanics were inspired by user feedback, like having a progression of levels and difficulties for both the learning and game modes, and locking the harder levels in the beginning to incentivize the user to keep learning. At the same time, I had to be selective about which feedback to take and which to leave behind. A common suggestion was to add speech feedback to the system, but I felt that went against the whole premise of the project, which is to learn to communicate without relying on sound. So I've decided to add more visual feedback instead. There's still a few additional features I'd like to add to the system, like addressing the left-hand issue I just mentioned, and testing the app on different platforms to make sure it renders correctly. I also had big plans for the game mechanics, and a few minor things got sidelined along the way. But everything is neatly packaged and can be run in a single script. You can try it for yourselves. Here's the GitHub repo. Thanks for a wonderful semester.